chill. They just started playing together. Like literally, it's been like 3 weeks since Sal's been with me because originally it was just
Who?
like Leo, the little
Your
one,
dogs?
and so yeah, and so they get along, but they're both very jealous dogs. Like I think that they both need to be the only dog.
Okay.
And so they get really like jealous when I'm giving attention to the other one. And so, but literally, I think it was Thursday night. I was just sitting doing like an order on my phone or something. And I noticed like out of the corner of my eye that they were like starting to play with each other. And I was like, like I had a reaction. I was like, oh my God, they're playing. And they saw me react like, oh my God, she's paying attention to us. And they stopped and they like went away from each other.
Yeah.
And then yesterday morning, I was up like watching TV. Like I was catching up on Drag Race and I was, just like in the zone. And then same thing, they like started to play together. And but then now they're like fully playing together. And of course, when we come to record the podcast, I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Oh my God.
But I'm so happy that they're finally like playing. But it's like, guys, like, can you just right now chill, please?
Relax. Oh my God. Yeah. I told you I was like, don't talk to me about dogs right now.
Oh,
Lucas yesterday, which I'm thankful now, and I had to text you immediately because I'm like, I need to tell someone about this before I
yeah.
make it a whole like bigger deal. I was walking him and it was my fault. Like I didn't put the leash on him all the way on the last hole.
Okay.
And he ran away. So like it came off of him and it was like I told you it was like 10 p.m. in Koreatown on one of like the main streets and I'm just like and my heart sank like the minute I'm like wait, he's not stopping and he's running towards the street. Like he's going to cross the street. I'm like where is he going? And mind you,
He
it was just
it's I feel bad laughing because I know that feeling, but it is that
yeah.
thing of it's like,
Yeah.
where the fuck are you going? Like, where are you
Where are you
going? Like, you've
going?
no
Why are
idea where
you
you're
not?
going.
Yeah, but he knew. He like
Yeah.
ran back home. He ran back home. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm like, proof. This dog hates being outside. He hates being outside. So I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, what? Okay, you're a house dog. Like, you're not, because I have a lot of my friends who are like, oh, you should take Lucas out for like a hike or like a park. And I'm like, he doesn't like it. Like, he'll be dragged, and on top of
Yeah.
that, he's a white little Bichon. Like, they're water dogs. They're not like hiking trail, like chasing mole. Like, he's not, But
No.
oh my God, Brooke. And then I'm just by the grace of all that is holy and God and the universe, and nothing happened. Like nothing happened. And was, I think, like maybe 30 seconds away from seeing cars like crossing, and I remember like I didn't look at my right. I only looked at my left for some reason. I don't know what happened. And I was like yelling at him and we both could have gotten hit. Like it you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And the thing is that like it's happened. Of course, I had to look up in the news to see if that had like happened to anyone, and of course, yes, people get hit chasing their dogs. And one of my friend's dogs passed away like that because the dog got hit leaving a store, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. But I told you, and I told my assistant Sophia, I'm like, that made me appreciate him even more. Like I grabbed him and I hugged him, and I'm like, they don't know. Like they don't. Dogs are not. They're. It's like they just don't know. So I'm like, why am I even gonna get upset? Like I'm like. So I took accountability for not putting his leash on properly, and I'm like, dang. Like in the 5 years that I've had Lucas, that's happened twice, and
Yeah.
once he's ran like that. I'm like, what the heck? But
He
yeah,
just wanted to get some cardio in. He was like, bitch, I'm free. I'm out of here. I'm going on a
uh,
run.
and in the process, of course, I consider myself to be in like fairly good shape, but
Yeah.
a sprint like that with no warm up and no proper like shoes either. I'm like,
Yep.
I told Sophia yesterday, I'm like, had I been wearing the Kiki boots like on my, because sometimes I like do wear the, like I do wear them like just to walk Lucas, like they're just shoes. Um, I told Sophia, I'm like, had I been wearing the Kiki shoes, this would have been a completely different story. I'm like, okay, I could not have ran. Like,
No. No.
no, none. But
No.
oh my God, he's
Oh my
here, and I
God.
like my right leg is all like sprained, and I'm like, ah, just taking it easy this morning.
Well, when you texted me, you were like, "Oh my God, this just happened." And I know that feeling because that's happened to me. It happened to me with my old dog Wilbur. It's
Yeah,
happened to me. It literally happened to me this week. Leo got out of his lead and literally like he saw a cat on our walk and started going all like, wiggly crazy because he's a
yeah,
puppy and we're still kind of like training him, and
yeah.
he like wriggled out of his lead and
Wow.
booked it after this cat. Hilariously,
Yeah,
didn't even go up the steps because like the cat ran into like one of my neighbor's yards.
yeah, yeah.
The cat ran up and Leo just like passed that stoop and like didn't even like he just saw the cat. Like that's the thing. Like he's kind of a dummy, but like
Okay.
ran past where the cat ran,
Yeah,
just like took down the street. And I was like, Leo, like, trying not to scream too, because it's, it was kind of early. It was like 8:30 in the morning. And I was just like, oh
yeah.
my God. And so I was like, Leo. And then I just kind of like crouched down really low on the ground. And I was like, Leo, come here, like kind of cute to get his
Yeah.
attention. And then he
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
turned at me and he got just like a big smile on his face and like booked it back towards me. And I was like,
Mhm.
dude, like he just, and I've been kind of busy this week. So I'm like, okay, yeah, like I need to take you to the dog park. Like I could just tell that he like, yeah, just wanted to like run and like be
Mhm.
wild for like a
Mhm.
flash.
Mhm.
But that's happened to me. Yeah, it happened to me this week with Leo in a different, this was like a different thing. But so, oh my God, was that Oscars? It was Oscars Sunday. I
Mhm.
had, speaking of the dogs, here they come. It was Oscar Sunday. I had a different foster at the time. His name was
Mhm.
Lane, and he was a big, huge, giant standard poodle. He
Mhm.
weighed 70, Lane weighed 74 pounds. He was massive. And I was helping my good friend Sam Spector, who's a stylist based in New York. A lot of times when his clients need help in LA, I'll cover for him. So I was helping Sam with Andy Samberg for Oscars for Vanity Fair After Party.
Mhm.
And I had brought his outfit to my house because I was like, oh, I don't really want to go downtown to my studio and then like run around all day. So I was like, I'll just bring everything to my house
Mhm.
and get it all prepped here because I have a full steamer. I have like the whole setup here as well. So got the look prepped, was kind of just waiting for the like go ahead, like, okay, he's ready, like come over, let's get him dressed.
Mhm.
Um, and I realized I was like, wait, where's my lint roller? I left
Mhm.
my like little lint roller bag in the car. So I was like, okay, let me go get this bag. And I opened my front door and the dog, like Lane, he was massive, body
Busted it.
checked me,
Yeah.
out of the way, ran out. And this was like, I was literally had gotten the text like, hey, okay, like come over in 30 minutes. Luckily, Andy doesn't live far from me. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to lint roll this thing really quick and then like get it all packed and like go over.
Yeah.
The dog booked it, like just fucking ran like out the door. And I was like,
Yeah.
what do I do? Like, cause it's also
Right.
not my dog. Like I'm fostering. So, but the dog is in my care. So I was like, if I
Yeah.
can't find this dog, it's the Oscars. I
Yeah,
have to
yeah, yeah,
go
yeah.
I have to go get our client ready. Like this, I was horrified. And I, of course, same as you, like I was in like my little like house slippers, like my casual like kick-ons.
Yeah.
And I was like, like running,
Yeah.
sprinting after this dog, like down. And he
Oh my
literally like ran
God.
like blocks down. And same thing, I was like, oh my God. And I was like, okay, well, he's running because I'm chasing him. So he probably thinks it's
Yeah.
like a game. And so
Oh,
I kind of
okay.
slowed down and I was like coming around this like corner because I was like, okay, if I come around slowly, I can like see where he is and like maybe like trick him. So I come around this corner and he's like peeing on a bush. So I'm like really still and quiet. And I look at him and he like kind of turns and like looks at me and does the like thing like he like wants to play, like
Like, yeah,
come chase me or whatever. And
yeah.
I looked at him and I was like, come here, Lane. And he was just like, like same thing, like happy and like came towards me. And I grabbed his collar and I was like, you little shit.
I know. I'm like,
It's Oscar Sunday. Do you
yeah.
understand?
What
And
year
thank
was this? What
God
Oscar? What
it
year?
was literally just a few months ago. It
Oh, it
was
was
literally
months
this year. It
ago.
was in
God.
what, February, March? When were
Man,
the
fuck the
Oscars?
Oscars. I swear.
I it was I have never I was like, "Oh my god, what I can't what am I going to do?" Like I was just like, "What am I going to do? What am I going to
Yeah,
do?"
yeah, yeah,
But it ended up working out okay. I got the dog home safe, walked him home by the collar. And he's so big, so it wasn't like I couldn't pick him up, but I
mhm,
just kind of like walked him home and put him inside and I was like, you bad
yeah.
boy, gave me
Yup,
a heart attack."
yup. I'm like, this isn't real. I'm like, this is a movie. I'm like, I
I
told Sophia,
know.
I was like, bitches be like, my life's a movie and it's them getting hit by a car. What,
Yeah.
you know?
But you can't I'm really glad that didn't happen. But yeah, it is that thing of where when your like heart just sinks and you're like, oh my God. Cause
Yeah.
it's a simple mistake. Do you know, like you were probably just like, I mean, how many times do you take him outside and like the collar's loose? Or, you just kind of like, you're like, oh, it's Lucas. Lucas is always so attached to you and like right by your side too. I think like everyone knows, anyone who knows you knows who Lucas is. They see
Oh,
that relationship.
you want to hear something really funny? I was at this party and this guy that I was supposed to go on a date with a long time ago and he like bailed out and I was like whatever. Um he was like he came up to me and he was like, "Hey," he's like, "Do you live by like such and such place?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And in my mind I'm like, "Wait." I'm like, you never picked me up. We never like went out on a date. You never how do you know where I live?" You know what I mean? I'm like, "Whatever."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh," he's like, "I recognized your dog." He's like, "From Instagram." And I'm like,
Oh my God.
yeah, and Lucas carries a evil eye on him at all
Yeah.
times. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's like a distinctive part of this little dog. But my friend was like, yeah, he's like, I recognized your dog from Instagram. And then he's like, and then I looked up and then I saw you and then I recognized you from your TikTok. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, what? I'm like, and then I learned a new word, doxed. Do you know that word?
Oh, yes, I do know that word.
I didn't know that word. And I told Sophia, my assistant, I'm like, Sophia, I'm like, the weirdest thing happened this evening. And I'm like, so and so like spotted me and then like started telling me like where I lived and all these things. And Sophia was like, oh my God. She was like, not you getting doxed. And I'm like, so for people that don't know, doxing means when you reveal someone's location based on like someone from the internet is basically airing out your address and where you live and where they've seen you and things like that. And I mean, it was funny because I started laughing because it wasn't that necessarily, but
Yeah.
I don't want to be perceived when I'm just walking my dog. You
Yeah,
know
when
what I
you're
mean?
just like
Yeah,
doing normal, like
like
minding your business kind of shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it goes to show, right? It's like you never know. It's like I've been really active online on socials and it's been an interesting part of getting over this hump of being so self-conscious about how I look, what I say,
Yeah.
how I'm going to be perceived. Because, I think 8 times out of 10, the interactions that I have with people online are pretty positive. Everyone's receptive to like the fashion news. And this week, with everything that was going on, I just ran with it. I'm like, fuck this. I was like, yeah, sure. Let's do the green screen. Let's do the updates. Let's do the 7 fun facts. Let's do that. And yeah, I mean, the end goal, right? What is the end goal? There is no end goal. It's just doing it and having fun.
Yeah.
So I tell, and I use my socials as basically a case study for my clients who want to either grow their audience or just get over their, fear of being online. I'm like,
Yeah.
no one's looking at you like that. And if they are, it's
Yeah. But sometimes
it'll
they are, aren't they?
well, it's
When they're
fan behavior.
looking, yeah, and like when they, but that's, I mean, that is a big part of, being online. It's like, yeah, if
Yeah.
you're, doing like a walk and talk on, Instagram on like a reel or something, or if you're live or whatever, people, might recognize, like the hedge on the corner, or they might be like, oh,
Yeah.
I know that intersection, or oh, I know that coffee shop that they posted that matcha at, like whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And like people are crazy, and like they'll put things together and like not dox you, but find out
Yeah.
like your shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a part of
Definitely.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a part of it. But
And
yeah, I mean,
it's
depending on
happened
what
with
you're,
it's
well, yeah, it happened to
yeah.
you.
Yeah. No, and then yeah, and it happened when I was with my abuela at a cafe. And this lady comes up to me and she was like, "Oh my God," she's like, "Do you own a vintage store?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And mind you, my abuela it was a Sunday, she was coming from church and we were just like chilling, we were just having coffee. And then the lady turns to my abuela, and because my abuela is also in my, on my reels, and like she's gone viral and all these things.
Yeah.
And the lady turns to her, she's like, "Oh my God, you're abuela." And my abuela is like, "I don't know you." Like, it's like older people,
Yeah.
they don't give a fuck. They're just like, "What?" But
Yeah. She's like, okay.
it's happened a couple of times with my abuela, with my grandma, where
Does she understand? Like, does she understand like when you're filming her in like outfits and things, or like, when you my favorite thing that you do with your grandmother is like when you put something on her, or when you like show her
yeah,
something, and you're
yeah,
like, we are now playing on the podcast, which is like, how much is this thing?
yeah,
And you like
yeah.
tell her how much something is, and she's like, oh my God, like I can't believe it.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing. But does she know, like, hey, I'm putting this on Instagram, or I put it up on TikTok and it got like 1 million views? Like, does she not get it, but does she get it?
Well, it was interesting because there was one video that went like mega viral, like 9 million views on one platform, and then I think like 3 million views on another, and then like it made it to Facebook. And so her friends started hitting her up, and
Yeah.
they were like, "Hey," they're like, you popped up." And they were like, "Wait, I know you." And then and then Curly, my best friend, he his mom was like, "Oh my God, Curly." She was like, "Look at this lady in this crazy pink getup." And and Curly was like, "Wait, that's Johnny's grandma." And
It's
his
Johnny's grandma.
and his mom was like, "What does she do for a living?" Like, what happened? So
Oh my God.
my my abuela was like, she got a little like taken up. She was a little taken aback because she was like, people
Yeah.
are saying like a lot of things about me, and then like it was a lot of like like people were self-identifying with abuela because they were like,
Hmm.
"Oh, I want to be this fabulous when I'm this age." And
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
right, there was like the two, like some of the people were like, "Oh my God," like kind of like saying mean things about her. But again, it's social media. It's like I tell my clients all the time, I'm like, you are the creator of your content, but once you put it out there, it has to live on its own. And that's with anything that
Yep.
we create, right? It's like this
Yeah.
podcast, like an outfit that we put together, an article that we write. Like, it's like, okay, great. I'm not the owner of it. I'm the creator, and the
Yeah.
world will do whatever it wants. Like, we were talking
Yeah.
last week about canceling out the noise, right? And how a successful entrepreneur is able to cancel out 80% of the noise that
Mm,
surrounds them. So yeah, the if you want to talk about the auctions, that took up a pretty big chunk of this week's
yeah.
content. And
Dude.
yeah, and it was like a back and forth because there were like, okay, so the biggest thing that everyone was following was Jane Birkin's Birkin bag. And oh, so how, like I'm deep in the auction. So there was a source, a very, very credible source close to us that said that one of the Olsen twins had gone in and taken a look at the Birkin bag.
Yes.
So we know for a fact that one of the Olsen twins had come in. We know that I genuinely think that Hermès may have tried to purchase back this bag
Yeah.
for their patrimony, and but ultimately, in the day that it was announced that oh my God, it was so funny because, I was busy with the Carrie Taylor auctions and I was like watching them. And then I remember there were a couple of things that I had my eyes on
Yeah.
that thankfully I got one of the main things that was like the star lot, you know?
Ooh.
Yeah, you'll see. I'll tell you afterwards.
Yeah.
Um but that morning, I remember like the auctions, the Carrie Taylor auction started at 5 in the morning, so I had to get up at 4 that that
Mm-hmm.
morning. Just naturally wake up at like 3:30, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, I have so much time. So I just started recording stuff and cleaning and making coffee and all these things, and then um proceeded with the partaking in the online bidding. And I had received a screenshot, like all of these sources, like people send me shit all the time. It's like, and
Yeah.
so someone sent me a screenshot of an email that a potential buyer for the Birkin bag had sent to the head of the handbag auction.
Yeah.
They had submitted a $100,000 bid for this bag. And the email that came back was, "Dear sir, we assure," it was like, "There's been a lot of interest in this bag, and we assure you that $100,000 is not enough. And in order to
That's not
grant
gonna
you
cut
a
it, babe.
paddle, we will have to see your financial records, and you have to have 1.6 million euro as a balance,
Yep.
just to be granted a paddle, just to be
Just to
granted
be
a
granted a
paddle."
paddle.
And I made the joke, and it was like, people, and then I posted those screenshots on TikTok because I saw that it wasn't they had been posted on Reddit first. So it's like once it's out there, it's basically free for anyone to use. That's kind of like the unspoken law of the internet. And so I put it up on TikTok with like this stupid audio, and it went viral. And people in the comments were like, "Oh my God, not Sotheby's calling you poor," which they think it's, from my account. But I'm like, damn, like even it was, yeah, it wasn't for me, but I'm just like, "Oh shit," like they were really, and then one of the comments was like, "Yeah," they were like, "What were you expecting? It's like going into the Ferrari dealership and offering $40,000 for a car." Like, yeah, they were gonna vet the process. And apparently that vetting process is also the same for art galleries, where they need to make sure that you have the funds in order to even proceed.
Okay. Well, it is what it is, folks. Having a little bit of technical difficulties. Uh, yeah, straight up.
Girl.
First, my internet was. I accidentally unplugged my router this morning. Like, I was moving some stuff around in my office and unplugged my router, and then now my computer just died, so it's going really well over here. It just like my computer's plugged in and everything, it just went boop, like it froze for a minute and then we just went all black. So I think we were when we were having some issues the other week, I mentioned that I need a new computer and it's definitely official. But anyways, okay. So Carrie Taylor, you have $1 million.
I'm like, Harry, thank you.
Like, thank you for thinking that I.
I mean, hey, because I do proxy bidding for clients, you know, and
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's interesting because everything's confidential. I can't say who I bid for. I can't. That's a huge no. And but I do have to tell my clients that certain pieces are of high interest, and so
yeah. Oh, definitely.
I do have to take time. Yo, Brooke, I fucking love my job. Like, I'm like, when we were at the Peninsula a couple of weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, watching the Diana auction, and at our side, right on our left or right hand side, all of the people on the phones were, taking in their clients' bids because
Yeah,
they wanted to remain anonymous. And it's just, if you can't join in like that in person, then you just phone in. It's I looked over and I'm like, oh man, I'm like, how do I get to do that? Like, I really want to do that. I want to be that person. And then auction week rolls around and I'm like, wait, I am. Like, I'm like, I became that guy. I'm like, and then for the Miyake bustier, the breastplate, I remember, I told myself that if this piece ever came up at auction or if it became available for purchase, I would pay anything for it. Really, anything. And if anyone remembers, the bidding on that went up to 45,000. And I remember I was like, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. And then I followed that with a clip of Samantha Jones at the auction when she was like, 50 fucking thousand. And she still loses. She lost the ring. Oh, sorry, spoiler alert.
yeah, yeah.
But she's wearing this fabulous yellow Mugler suit, and she has her
Mm-hmm.
paddle and her friends are there, and I'm like, wow, Jonathan, like you fucking did it. Like you really set out to do what you've always dreamt of doing, and that this week was a testament, proof, whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, man, I'm having fun. And it's difficult to tell people that I like it's hard to take a break, you know what I mean, from all of this when there's so much information
Mm-hmm.
that's like being intaken. And I've definitely lessened this pressure on myself where I have to be the
Yeah,
first to like report. Like, I have to be. It's like, no, babe, like I leave that to the pros, you know what I mean? Like, and by the pros I mean like Hanan from I Deserve Couture, to a certain extent, like style.com, and people, they like, where to go for this type of like soundbite
yeah,
and info, etc. And great. For me, and Priscilla, my assistant, was the one that made me really come to terms with, Jonathan, you can't be everywhere at once. Like,
no,
stay in your own lane, focus on what you're doing, and do it to the best of your abilities.
yeah.
So when I was, oh my god, when I was, frantically fucking, like, I have my two computers open, I have my jug of coffee, I have the lights, the ring light, all on, and I get a text message again from Michael, the one who, the same listener who gave us,
Butterfield, our
yes,
king.
yes. I'm like, not us doxing Michael. Like,
I mean, we're not saying where he lives,
right, right.
just his name, which I think is his actual, I think it's his handle.
It's his
So,
handle.
like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's,
I know, I know, I know.
yeah.
Butter my field.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So Michael Butterfield texts me and he's like, the bag sold for $7 million, and my jaw dropped. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, what? Everything stopped. Like time stood still. You know what I mean? And I'm like, the first reaction was, I knew it, right? Because we'd been discussing this since since I came back from my trip to New York, where I saw the bag, and like
Yeah.
I flew
Yeah.
out. I flew out just to meet this fucking bag. Like that's how much.
Yeah. 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 And even back then, we were like, oh, the rumor is it could go for $1 million. And I was
Right.
still like, that is so expensive. Like $1 million handbag is crazy expensive. And
Yeah.
then this with, I think, buyer's premium and everything, it was like 8 something million euro.
Which came
And
out,
now which is an equivalent to like 10 million US dollars.
yes,
That
10.1.
is,
It's the most expensive bag ever sold. The second most expensive Hermès bag ever sold went for $450,000, which was a Himalaya Birkin with the
yeah.
diamond pave hardware, and people, I think that was the like the barometer for the projected gavel price for Jane's Birkin, because
Yeah.
people are like, all right, cool, let's double it, let's get close to 1
Yeah.
million. And
Yeah. Yeah.
since there have been interest from the Olsen twins, it's like I I was like, for sure, this will go for $1 million. And then things that morning started to align, because then, Sotheby's was telling people, like, you need to have 1.6 million euro just to be able to be in the room, babe. We don't.
Just to like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sotheby's was like, open your purse.
open your purse for the invite. Like,
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I
Oh.
saw a last minute, I mean, I guess it wasn't last minute, but closer to the auction. I think it was like the day before or something.
Mhm.
Um, that I think, and I don't know what the source was or anything, but that, it was rumored that Jeff Bezos was looking at it to buy for Lauren Sanchez. And so part of me, it's one of those things where it's like, we've talked about this before, where it's like certain people that like live at the auctions that are repeat buyers that, are drawn to, you know, these pieces. It was like when I saw that come in, I was like, oh man, like I really don't want it to go that way. And then it was like the Olsons was like kind of, I was really actually into that idea because they kind of like culturally, right? I mean, the Birkin is the Birkin. Like it is an amazing piece of fashion history and it's an amazing bag, but something about the way that we perceive Birkins in fashion today, I think a lot of that is owed to the Olsons. Because like I mean, we all know the image, we've discussed this before, where it's like they were like their Birkins are just so beat up and like really well loved and worn, and it's just like some people are just like astonished by that how could you treat such an expensive piece like that? It looks like it got run over by a car or whatever, but that's what it is. It's luggage, essentially. It's supposed to be well loved and worn. I mean, that's the whole point of a handbag. And even with our discussion a couple weeks ago with Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, the way that her 40 Birkin was really well loved and like distressed. And so, yeah, the idea of the Olsons getting it, I was like, yes! It just kind of felt like it was like coming home in a way. I was
Yeah.
really, really into that. Really into that.
Yeah, and I have to say something on that, because you know, I avoid becoming influenced by what other people say online, especially for like fashion critiques. I'm like, I want to see what I can, let me study and let me see what the show notes are. I
Yeah.
stylistically, I can pinpoint to who inspires me. There's David Beckham in that Jean Paul Gaultier sarong. Yeah. I know all about it. I know the season, I know why, I know where, and I know where he bought it. Marc Jacobs in his like fucking kilts with his, Birkin is a very like, I love that image so much. And then of course,
Mm-hmm.
the Olsons, with
The Olsen.
Mary Kate. I believe, with her beaten up box leather Kelly bag in this beautiful navy blue. And there's an image of her wearing one of the Prada stoles, the fox fur stoles from SS11. And she's like partying with the stole on, and that stole when it came out, I think was like $7,000 or something. And then she has her like Kelly up in the air, and it's entirely distressed, and that image is like seared in my mind. So I'm like, all right, well, I need to get my own Kelly bag. And so I remember you know, I got it, I had my own Kelly and my own Birkin. I still have my Kelly. The Birkin I sold because it was never supposed to be for me, a piece that I carried for myself, because it wasn't my personal preferred color. Like I want a black
Yeah.
Birkin with the gold hardware, you know? So I'm like, well, you know, we'll see what happens. But anyway, so I like you, yeah, there was a lot of I heard a lot of rumors of I think people are very, from what I perceived in the messages that I got, people are very protective over Jane's legacy, you know, and same
Yes.
thing over Caroline's legacy and Princess Diana's legacy. So they really wanted this to be a quote unquote happy ending for this bag. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
when the news came out that this Japanese buyer, Japanese collector from you know, this like either a parent company or so, right, whatever. The news was coming out of Japan that someone there had purchased the bag, and
Yeah.
people immediately went to um what was his name? Yuzaku Maezawa. Yuzaku Maezawa, who I sent you his information. He's a billionaire.
Yeah.
He started Zuzu Town, which is, I believe, like like kind of like a Sheen type situation, but like the Japanese equivalent of it. And
Uh-huh.
and that was quickly debunked a couple of like hours later. Like
Oh.
people were on it,
Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah.
then came the news that Valuance Inc., the parent company to Allu is a vintage retailer of luxury goods in Japan. It happens to be a chain, and they sent out a press release, and Shinsuke Sakimoto, the CEO of Valuance himself, started posting all of the congratulatory stories on his IG. So he was basically just like reposting like hype beast and everyone that was tagging him, and he was like claiming, he's like, yeah, this is it. And so he came out with a statement, and he said that the bag was not going to be sold again. So this is, you know, presumably its last home. And the bag represents the philosophy of valuance, which is, I believe it was like a personal style. And he credited Miss Jane Birkin. It was really beautifully said. It's like, you know, it's like he said something to the effect of like, I admire Miss Jane Birkin, and I think she's a testament to everything that we hold valuable and dear at our company. And so this is where the bag will live, and that's it, you know. And people rejoiced. People were like, yes, they're like it, this is the place where this piece is meant to go, you know. And
Yeah.
it
Huh.
yeah, yeah, because he's a collector, you know. And
Yeah.
for whatever intent the you know, for whatever the intention was to acquire the bag, it worked. Like now we know who Valuance is. Like now we know who, you know, it's like we've been introduced to this new character, and he seems to be very well liked. Like I haven't heard anything bad said about him. Someone on the Pitchuga IG was like, "That's my boss." And
Ooh.
yeah, and I'm like, I commented back, and I'm like, "Tell him we said congrats." Yeah, so
Whoa. Okay, I have been kind of like,
what are your
I
thoughts?
don't know, checked out. Like I didn't realize, I still thought I didn't realize that the person that you had sent me, the other billionaire, that was debunked. So
Yeah.
this whole weekend I've been thinking that it was that guy.
No.
And then remember, because when you sent it to me, I was like, who is this person? And like looked him up and then saw his like there was this like crazy post on some like Japanese real estate like website that was like it was basically like an AD like architectural digest of like his crazy apartment in I think Tokyo or something. So I sent you that. I thought it was that guy this entire time,
No,
like since Friday or
it's
whenever that was.
it's not Maezawa.
Weird.
No.
So essentially, this guy, not to like,
Mm-hmm.
so he kind of owns almost like a real
Yeah, yeah,
esque company. Is
yeah.
that what this company is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I wonder, but I'm just like, I still like as a, for a company to own the bag,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That just seems like so lame to me.
Yeah, you think
Do
so?
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I really like if it wasn't like a private collector or something like that. Like, I mean, yeah, we talked about this that it would be great for it to go to a museum or something. Our ultimate wish for the bag is preservation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I'm glad that it's not going to be like out in the streets being worn
Mm-hmm.
as I think if other buyers would have been successful in their endeavors, that probably would have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay, interesting. Well, I guess we'll find out what Valuance ends up doing with the bag. If they don't really need to do anything, I guess, but
No.
how interesting.
Yeah,
How
I mean,
interesting.
the bag had already, people were like, why didn't Jane give the bag to Charlotte, her daughter, right? And why
Yeah, yeah,
someone sent me a DM and they were like, if my mom's bag was given to some stranger, I would be livid and I would da da da. Da." And I'm like, okay, great. Like everyone has their own opinion and that's amazing. Like that's what we love to hear and see. But I'm like,
yeah,
I'm like, you're not taking into consideration that Jane donated this bag for AIDS charity in 1994. Like she donated it,
yeah,
willingly just, gave it up. The bag now, Kinsuke Sakimoto is now the third owner of this bag. So
yeah.
it was sold in 1994. This is what I really do want to mention. And it was sold in 1994. It was then resold in 2000, and then the person who bought it, Catherine Bernier, is a vintage
Yes,
collector herself from Paris.
yes.
The price hasn't been disclosed as to like, I mean, I'm pretty sure I can do some deep delving and see like how much it sold for initially. But the bag has been passed down from Jane to two different people, So along
Mm-hmm.
the way, from 1994 to 2000, the stickers that Jane had put on her bag were taken off. And so what we see now is the sticker residue, and that, is how people want to preserve the bag. And yeah, Bernier, the third owner of the bag, yeah, after Jane, yeah, the third owner of the bag, she gave it to the Victoria and Albert Museum and the MoMA for on loan, so it could be displayed, so other people could see it. And yeah, like you said, we don't know what Mr. Sakimoto is going to do with the bag, and if it'll be, put in a museum somewhere, or if it'll be enshrined
Yeah,
in his office for people to see. I mean, I think it could be it's the biggest trophy that could be used to motivate your employees, motivate yourself, and it's yeah, but it this that's the record. And someone commented and they were like something to the effect of like kind of like like this is the topic right now, and I'm like, no, 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 this is going to be spoken about for decades to come.
yeah,
It's a historic
yeah.
piece that now holds a historic price, and it changed the game, so to speak. You know what I mean? So all other bags will now, like, they will not be able to hold a candle to this, because again, the last piece
Yeah.
that sold at auction, the last Hermès bag that sold at auction of this could even it went for $450,000, which is, you know, pennies.
I was gonna say pennies, darling.
Pennies,
Pennies.
God, penny. A paltry 450,000. Girl, pennies on the bag.
Oh my
Pennies on the
God.
bag.
Literally. Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. 10 million.
Yup.
That's like, wow. And it's like, when we were just discussing, like all the comments that were coming in about Diana's, Dior bag selling, that sold for what, 350,000?
That sold for,
What was her
I believe it was 325, if I remember correctly.
25?
Yes, because
But
there was
yeah, those
no,
comments that were like, that's a down payment for a house. That's
right.
like,
That's what I,
that's
yeah.
what I owe Sally Mae. And it's like, what's 10 million? Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Uh,
Wow. Wow.
I'm looking at the 325,000, and that's with,
25.
I believe that's with buyer's premium already. Mm.
Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Pennies.
I could have bought it.
Oh my
No,
God.
but I did post. I bought the Chanel boots from autumn winter 2013. The ones with the chain strap around them, and Michael
Huh?
again. Michael, I it was funny because that morning when I got the text message from Michael that it was that Birkin's bag, that Jane's bag had sold for 7 million. I immediately called him and I'm like, "What?" I like started freaking out. And then he was like, what are you buying, from Carrie Taylor?" And I'm like, "Oh, I just landed the buying the winning bid for these boots." And he's like, "Beyonce
Yeah.
wore those?" And I'm like, like, I love it. Like, and then I already have a DM of this one lady who I met in Paris back in 2022 at the auctions then, because I was a participant in
Yeah.
the couture auction in Paris for Carrie Taylor and Maurice. And
Yes.
she was like, "Oh my God," she's like, "Do you remember me?" She was like, "We were sitting next to each other and we were going head to head for another Chanel piece." And I'm like, "Hmm?" I was like, "Wait, you were the one bidding against me for this one Chanel bracelet from 1991,
It was the bangle,
a
right?
bangle."
Was it a bangle?
Yep.
Yeah. I remember that.
Where it was like Linda Evangelista and Christy Turlington on a fucking motorcycle wearing the leather, jackets and with the giant tulle dresses. And they both had these
Yeah.
bangles on. And I'm like, I was buying it on behalf of a client. So I was like, with my paddle, da da da. And this lovely woman next to me was also like, and I'm like, and then so she won. I believe she won, but this time around she texted me or she DM'd me and she was like, "Hey, like, I don't know if you remember me." She's like, "I don't know if you remember me, but I was there with you." And I'm like, "Oh my God, Diva, like, hi."
Hey, Diva.
Hey, Diva, my auction diva, my
My
frenemy.
God.
Hi, frenemy. How are you? I'm like, "Of course I remember that bangle. We lost it." I'm like, "But good for you." And she was like,
Was she just checking in? What was she
"No."
doing?
She was like, "I want to buy those boots from you because 'twas I who was bidding against you that morning." But she was, she got distracted with something else. She had to get, like, it's like, it, the time difference is such a killer with these things because it's like, I
I know.
remember I was up from 3:30 in the morning that morning of Thursday, and I went to sleep Thursday night at like 10 p.m. or something like that. So I think I
Oof.
I
Yeah.
worked like a crazy, like, past 20. Yeah, it was just wild. Anyway, she DM'd me and she's like, "I want to buy those boots. How much are they now?" And I'm like, "You know the cost." I'm like, "This is kind of awkward." It's just business at the end of the day. But I think
Yeah.
she might, once they arrive here, we'll try them on, we'll play with them for like a couple of hours, and they could be on to their next, final destination.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because
Wow.
and I got, how many pieces did I get? I got da-da-da, da-da-da, the shoes, da-da-da. I think I got like 4 items. 4 items.
Good.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
good.
I'm like, one of them is going to be a co-invested piece with one of my clients, and then the Chanel boots is like, okay, cool, like let's play with them, and then another one is a personal piece for me for
Ooh,
that I can like wear myself, and I love the. I'll tell you, it's like later. I'm like, it's like the type of adornments that make an outfit. I'll just say that much, you know.
love, yeah.
And then the pièce de résistance, was another promise. I call them promise pieces, where if it's out there and if it comes up, I've made a promise to like younger Johnny, younger fashion nerd Johnny, who had just gotten into this crazy fucking world and was like always, like looking. I'm like, what? Wait, when am I gonna touch that? Like, when am I gonna see it? When is it? Does it even exist? And so this
Yeah.
this was a promise piece for me, and I want it. And I documented everything, the process of me bidding on it, and yeah, the reaction and everything. So it's it'll be posted once the piece comes in, and then once we do the unboxing.
Wow.
So yeah. I already have
That's exciting.
one interested buyer in it. So, because it's like
Incredible.
they're promise pieces. They're not meant for me to own forever. I don't that's not
Yeah.
that's not my
Yeah,
style.
yeah, yeah. It's like I
Tell me.
it's like I compare it in my silly like brain to I have friends that are really into like fly fishing
Okay.
and like fishing.
Yeah.
Um and so yeah, it's like catching the big fish,
Yeah.
right? And it's like but it's catch and release. It's not or like hunting, right? It's
Yeah.
like I mean hunting is a little bit harder because you're using, like guns and it's like gross. But it is that thing of where it's like you do it and you like catch this big fish and you're like, holy shit, this is maybe the biggest fish I've ever caught.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let it go so it can like do its own thing and like live out its life
Yeah.
back in the fashion river. We're trying to like use
Yes.
this allegory, but
Yes.
um,
Yes.
but yeah,
Yes.
like
Yes.
these are your fish that you're
Yeah.
like catching, and
Yup.
it's not forever. It's just like for the brief excitement and like thrill, right? And research.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of, I mean, how do you say this? Quantifying our job through market research, right? It's like we're not doing anything that other industry, like, other industries don't partake in.
Yeah.
It just so
Yeah.
happens that we're doing it at Prada, you know what I mean? Or like we're doing it like like, or we're doing it with couture. It's or like,
Yeah.
you know, I remember when I was when I was at when I was going to Paris back in 2022, and I had gotten invited to the opening of the Schiaparelli exhibit at the MAD, at the Musée des Arts Décoratifs. And I remember, the day leading up to it, I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna pack this, I'm gonna, and then I'm like, final thing, I'm just gonna go get a haircut, so that I can look presentable when I arrive to Paris. And I was at the barber's chair, and I was telling my friend at the time, I'm like, I feel like, those like reality shows where like remember America's Next Top Model and stuff, like where like the prize was like this,
Of course.
right? It's like, and you're like you're doing the go-sees, and like you hope you land, and like that, like all these things. And I was like, wait a damn minute. I'm like, I won. Like I won. Like I'm gonna go
Yeah.
to I won the final prize. So then that was a very eye-opening moment for me, because then I'm like, oh, what do I do with this? Right? It's like, what do I do with
Yeah.
this win? And then now it's transformed into the community aspect of it. It's like,
Mm.
if I win, I win these pieces. Okay, well, my team has to try them on. They have to play with them. My colleagues have to also provide their interpretation of how they want to see these pieces live for their moment, before it gets
Yeah.
returned to what you said, right? The fashion river. So,
Yeah.
the vastness of the ocean, because
Right.
that's another thing that I want to say. It's like, I think it's very easy to compare myself, right, to what other people are doing and what other people are buying and what other people are saying. But it's ultimately how we interpret, what we see, because then
Yeah.
there's no original thought, there's only original perspective. And I come back to that a lot. I'm like, what's my perspective on this? I'm like, I am a queer brown guy from Koreatown that like, what the fuck? Why am I, But that, and I'm sure you can relate to that too as a queer brown man.
Yeah. Yeah. As a queer brown man myself,
Oh my god.
I do actually,
Hmm.
this is kind of a like wonky tie-in, but
No, tell me.
something that you just said about, you know, perspective.
Hmm.
So something has happened recently, uh, that has kind of like, I don't know if people are taking it not as seriously, but it's like really affected me in a way that like, I don't know, like when I found out, I like screamed. So in the styling world, you know how it is. We talk about this like fairly often where, it's like the loyalty on our side. It's like clients are always switching stylists are leaving clients. It's kind of like, I mean, we were laughing last week about, the term musical chairs
Right,
or
right.
whatever. But what's really interesting is in the last like few months, sort of like over the course of our summer so far, there have been a lot of styling shakeups. And so it's one of those things where, you know, I we talked about this when you were telling us your story about Sam Wolf.
Yeah. My
And in that,
bestie.
like, yep, your bestie. But I just love hearing about this kind of stuff. Like, I'm really like invested in it. So my favorite stylist, like in the diaspora of our industry,
The fashion ocean.
is this. Yes, exactly. Is this stylist, Julie Regolia.
Okay.
And Julie is most notably an editorial stylist, and she also works with a lot of brands and style. She styles their runway collections. She actually worked with Willie Chavarria. She really is known for her stylings with Xenia. She basically does all their campaigns. She does all their runways.
I love that.
But in the great world of celebrity styling, she's the one that put Pedro Pascal on the map as like a
Wow.
fashion icon.
I see, I see.
So she put him in the red Valentino shorts at the Met Gala, which was
Uh,
like a huge thing. Recently, everyone was going crazy when he showed up for, press in a black cutoff t-shirt. She's always pushing the boundaries. She's always telling a story. She put him in the Protect the Dolls
mhm,
t-shirt
mhm.
that has now gone viral and has sold out multiple times. And there's always a statement to say. She's just so smart in the way that she puts clothes together. And I'm one of her biggest fans. I think she's absolutely brilliant. And I've loved her work with Pedro forever. Well, I found out on Monday that they are no longer working together. And it has affected me in a way where
Yeah, why?
I I don't I don't know. I think
Okay. Mhm,
one is admiration,
mhm,
right? I
mhm.
I completely admire her work. I think what they have done, because Pedro is he's an older actor. He's not like a young new Hollywood like hot guy on the map. Do you know what I mean? He's established. He's an established actor. He's been doing this for a long time. He's of a certain age. And I think that they really proved that men can be sexy, right? Like quote unquote sexy at any age and fashionable and like push boundaries and be cool and like wear weird shit and like wear cool outfits. And my admiration for that, I think, understanding that that relationship is over, it's just it really affected me in a way where other celebrities and actors and musicians have been leaving their stylists, or those relationships have been ending this summer. Like Margot Robbie is no longer with Andrew Muckmall, who famously did her Barbie campaign,
They're no longer
which that
together?
blew my mind that
What?
that relationship is over.
There is no
Yeah, and
loyalty in this industry. There,
it really,
I mean,
yeah,
that's a
and like,
generalization, but yeah.
but no, but I mean, it's true, right?
Yeah.
And like, you see these things that are so culturally in our culture, fashion culture and celebrity culture and whatever, um, you see these things that have deep meaning to a lot of us. And when those relationships end, it's like I'm like grieving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I some friends of mine were DJing Monday night, and I literally went to the bar and they were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, like how are you doing? Like how's your week so far?" And I found out within like the hour of me, being at home and seeing the news, and then like going to the bar, and all my, good guy friends, like all the boys are obsessed with Pedro. So I was like, "You're not gonna fucking believe this." Literally went on like a full tirade, and it's just one of those things too, where I'm seeing the outfits that he's wearing now, because he's in the middle of two press tours. Pedro is he's doing a press tour right now for Fantastic Four, which is coming out soon, his big Marvel superhero movie where he plays Mr. Fantastic. He's also in the new Ari Aster movie, Eddington.
Mm.
So he's kind of simultaneously doing press for both of those projects.
Mm-hmm.
So we're seeing him in a lot of looks, and it's just not hitting the same for me. Like some of the outfits, I'm just like, and don't get me wrong, Pedro is so handsome. He could wear a potato sack and look good in it, but there's something, I just feel like there's like a little bit of magic missing.
Mm.
And yeah, and so, but that's all perspective, right?
Yeah.
Because when I go on check the tag, and I'm looking at, the stills and people like commenting, "Oh, Zaddy, like daddy, he could do whatever." Same thing, like he could wear a potato sack and look hot, like
Yeah.
he's the king, da 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 da, whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, people are liking this, but
Yeah.
and maybe it's my devotion to Julie,
Yeah. It's absolutely. It's
but
yeah.
I'm really curious to see like where this new relationship with his new stylist goes.
Chocolate.
Because all I will say is that the most recent outfit I saw him in, which is full the row, he's in like a full look by the row, which ultimately is like, wow, that's the row. It should clock to me that that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Interesting. Yeah, I know that when Law retired or mentioned his plans to retire, that
Yeah.
yeah, you were impacted by that, and then we
Yes.
spoke about that, and then you said something upon like, well, you reflected on that, and I'm like, that has nothing to do with how you we manage ourselves and
Right.
how we move through our industry. It's like his perspective, Law's perspective is his perspective, and then we saw that was like really a cry for change, and
Yeah.
and it did it great. Like it's good for him, for speaking out and for like
Yeah.
setting that boundary, and for I look up to Law for just how strong he is with his communication and his delivery, and like what one thing that he said, yeah, but um I wonder what does the last conversation sound like between these two people, like like
Yeah.
Andrew and Margot and Pedro and Julie?
Julie, yeah.
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 Pedro and Julie.
So,
It's like what is that what does that last conversation sound like? Because it's like, it's like it's like Law and Zendaya breaking up. I mean, that's like,
yeah.
or like, yeah, I'm like, what that? that would send everyone into a spiral, you know? So,
No, 100%,
yeah,
100%. And it's what I will say is that,
yeah.
I hope and I so wish, and it does seem like, because GQ wrote a whole article about Julie and Pedro no longer working together. That's how major this is to like our industry, which is wild because that doesn't necessarily happen. So
Yeah.
my hope and wish is that there was a conversation because
Mhm.
sometimes there isn't. Sometimes you just like literally lose a client and you never know why. You just wake up and see that they're working with somebody else on Instagram, that another stylist is credited for, a look or whatever. And it's just like, okay, well, fuck my drag. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like sometimes,
Literally.
sometimes there are no conversations and it's just it's just one of those things. But, I really hope that there were conversations for both of those parties. And even then, like, yeah, Andrew Muckmall also worked with Zoe Kravitz for a really long time. Zoe is also apparently no longer with Andrew. So there's a lot of like shakeups within, celebrity styling. And as we move, through summer, sort of getting to fall, to the start of award season, I think we're going to see a lot of new partnerships. And brand deals. It looks to me, I'm just going to put this out in the universe. I'm sure other people have clocked
Tell
this.
me.
But with Pedro's new relationship with his new stylist, he, in the last week and a half, has worn 3 looks by Hader Ackerman for Tom Ford. I will put money on it that Pedro is going to get a Tom Ford deal.
Good. Good. I
Yeah.
think that makes,
If I were in Vegas,
yeah.
I would put
How
I would
much?
put money on that. Yeah. It just I'm
325,000.
like, "Oh, yeah." I was like, "Oh, wow, that's 3 looks in
Yeah.
rapid succession.
It,
That's pretty
and
rare."
I think it makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. Hater is hot.
Yeah.
Tom Ford is hot.
Hater's so
You know,
hot.
he's hater.
Everybody's hot.
Everyone's hot. Yeah, I styled Pedro for a photo shoot. Yeah, for a photo shoot, and I was like, didn't know who he was. I just arrived with like my garment bags, and I'm like, is there a rack? Found out he was Chilean. We started speaking Spanish, and I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
this guy's really cool. And he was like down for everything. And like he was barefoot in the middle of the street, on a rundown chair, wearing a broken Vivienne Westwood jacket that I had brought over. And yeah, I remember thinking about how this was before the pandemic. So I think he was like not like definitely not as big as he is now, but I'm like,
Yeah.
cool, that's a really charming, easygoing guy. And there was a there was a fluidity about the way he approached, fashion and his identity and things like that. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I can see why there's a lot of people that have a crush on this guy. Like a lot of guys that have a crush on him.
Yeah.
And yeah, 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 yeah.
And women.
Yeah, he's on the cover of this magazine. I forget it's like W or something like that, where it's like or Vanity Fair, and then it's like him with like a bunch of hands grabbing at him, and it's like
Yes.
everyone wants a piece of Pedro, and
Yes.
I'm like, good, do it for the culture. It's like amazing. Like let's talk about let's talk about Chile. Let's talk about Latin men. Let's talk about like you said, right?
Yeah.
Like the idea that like I feel like, well, of course men have it easier, like men can be sexy, and it's like past, it's like it's the we I should say we I I don't know, sometimes I don't I it's so funny because on that I posted the process of me bidding on the Chanel boots, and someone commented and they were like, ugh, what a waste, for these to go to a man, and I'm like, did you just assume that I identify with?
Well, it's that, and that's just such a weird thing to say.
Well,
Ew.
it's a bitter Betty. So, God bless her.
Bitter Betty.
Yeah, but again, I think, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing if this does materialize, and if we should bet. We should put $75 or something like that, or like a lunch. See who takes who out.
Yeah.
But the only
Let's
thing
do lunch. Okay, so are you betting against me then that there won't be a campaign
It's a thing. It's
or
like,
like a deal,
I think there
brand
will
deal?
be. I think there will be a brand deal because it makes. Well, this bet doesn't work.
Any listeners?
Any listeners that
Let's
are
open
betting
it up.
against? Yes.
Yeah. But like, what do we? What's our like thing?
I don't know. Well, we'll discuss.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll work it out. We'll announce it in the next episode.
Yeah.
Let us know any ideas.
Yeah.
But
Oh my God.
yeah.
That's
Oh my
funny.
gosh. Well, we are at our hour.
We're
Time flies when you're
Mhm.
talking auctions and
yapping
being
away.
riled up about literally new podcast title, The Yapping Room.
The yapping room. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my
So
God.
funny.
How funny.
Wow. Well, thank you for I so appreciate you being patient with all of my technical difficulties over here.
You're fine.
I
It's
am going to go get
Sunday.
a new computer this week, probably.
Oh my God. Wait, that reminds me of another snarky comment that I got. The boots ended at like 1,800 euro. And someone commented and they were like, damn, should have been buying a better computer with that money. Because I should. And I responded to them, I'm like, who cares about the computer? It's like, I'm not gonna fucking wear that, you know what I mean? But it is interesting.
Yeah.
So word to the wise, if you are going to start creating your own content, just be prepared because the internet is a vast universe of great and bad. So do what you will with it. But anyway,
Yeah, you got to take the praise with the
critiques. Yeah, and that's what a lot of people are afraid of. It's like, how am I going to be perceived online, and is someone going to say something bad? And it's like, babe, once your shit goes to the millions or like even like the tens, like, yeah, you're going to get people angry at something.
Yeah.
So whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, no, this was so much fun, and
I know, here we are.
Yeah.
Another week down.
Another week down. We could probably split this episode into two. We
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Oh my gosh, well, I love you, and
love you too.
thanks everybody. We'll see you next week.
Okay. Bye.
Yay.